Okay, let's just take a moment. Try and get a sense of the crypto market right now. What's the feeling you're getting? Because that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got, social media analysis, hard market data, institutional reports, the works.
Yeah, quite a bit to sift through.
And the mission really is to figure out what's actually driving the mood out there.
And looking at the sources, especially for, let's say, early June 2025, the picture is actually pretty positive, quite distinctly so.
Positive, okay.
There's even this theme popping up in the social analysis feeds. They're calling it Joyful June.
Joyful June. I like that. It's definitely paints a picture. So this isn't just a general feeling. The sources are actually measuring this.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing mentioned a lot is the Binance Fear and Greed Index.
Oh, yes. Classic indicator.
Right. And our sources have it pegged at 69 currently. So that's firmly in greed territory.
69.
And it's not just a blip. It's been holding steady above 68, even hit 74 last week, apparently. So it suggests, sustained positive sentiment, not just a flash in the pan.
Okay, so the index is yelling greed. But is that just, Twitter hype? Or does the info you're seeing show it translating into actual, market moves?
Well, this is where it gets pretty interesting, actually, because the sources really highlight a clear link there. That positive feeling, the joyful June stuff you see online, it's lining up directly with real market action. It seems people are putting their money where their sentiment is.
Okay, so what's the hard evidence then? What are the sources pointing to specifically?
Well, look at trading volumes, for instance. Bitcoin's volume jumped 18% on June 9th alone, hit about $2.1 billion.
Wow, 18%.
Yeah. And Ethereum wasn't too far off, up 15%. That's $1.3 billion. Solana also had a good day, price up over 4%, but its volume surged like 22%.
Okay, that kind of volume spike definitely suggests more than just talk. It's actual activity.
It really does. It strongly suggests that positive mood is fueling actual trades.
And what about the charts? Are the technicals reflecting this optimism as well?
They are, yeah. Take Bitcoin breaking that $71,000 resistance. That happened right around June 9th when the sentiment was really buzzing.
Key level.
Definitely. And also, the RSI, that's the relative strength index for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, was climbing. That usually signals strong buying pressure.
Right.
So you get this kind of feedback loop almost. Good vibes, push prices, technicals look good, which then reinforces the good vibes.
It makes sense. Now, it's easy to think this is maybe just retail traders getting excited, but are institutions playing along too, according to the sources?
Oh, absolutely. That's another key point in the reports. Institutional activity seems aligned.
Like what?
Well, Bitcoin ETFs, for example, saw inflows of about $150 million just on June 9th.
Okay, significant.
And companies nicked for holding Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy. Their stock prices were up. Even the outflows from Grayscale's GBTC slowed right down like $10 million versus maybe $50 million the week before.
So the big players are positioning themselves in line with this positive mood too. Interesting.
It definitely looks that way. They're either reflecting it or, capitalizing on it.
What about on-chain data? Does network activity tell a similar story?
It adds another layer of confirmation, really. Bitcoin's active addresses, for example, were up 12%, reached about 1.1 million.
So more wallets actually doing things.
Exactly. It suggests it's not just trading back and forth on exchanges. There's maybe more fundamental network use, more engagement, which kind of underpins the optimism.
And I think the sources also mention a link to the broader financial markets.
They did, yeah. They noted a strong correlation right now with indices like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. They were also seeing gains. So it suggests this crypto sentiment might be part of a bigger picture, maybe a wider shift towards more risk appetite across different assets, not just a crypto-only thing.
Right. So, okay, let's try and synthesize this. We've got the sentiment index high, the joyful June buzz, trading volumes up, technical breakouts, institutions involved, more on-chain activity, and it's even correlating with traditional markets. What does this whole picture mean for you, the listener, trying to make sense of it all?
Well, I think it really shows how interconnected everything is, right? The social mood, the vibe, it isn't just noise.
Yeah.
When you see it validated by, like you said, volume, charts, institutional flows, actual network use, it becomes a pretty powerful market force. So understanding this whole multi-layered picture, which these sources help us do, gives you a much deeper insight into why things are moving. It's more than just looking at one number.
It definitely helps connect the feeling to the facts on the ground. But there's always a but, isn't there? The reports also had a word of caution, right? Amidst all the good news.
They certainly did, yeah. A key reminder in the sources is that while this positive sentiment seems well supported by data right now, these sentiment-driven rallies can turn on a dime.
Right, they can be fragile.
Very. If some unexpected bad news hits, or some other catalyst emerges, that joyful June feeling could evaporate really fast no matter how good the recent data looked.
So that leaves a really interesting question for you to think about. How do you approach things when the data looks solid, the narrative feels strong, but, the underlying vibe driving so much of it could just flip almost instantly? Definitely something to mull over.